Hello and welcome back to Earth. Ash was a martial artist. So, Ash would arrive in Azalea town as he didn't really need, and he didn't go to Kurt's house as he didn't really have business there because there's no GS ball, and Ash didn't go to the Orange Islands as he didn't need to go or he didn't even want to go, as he didn't worry about a little break in the Orange Archipelago because he needed to go and save his master. So he didn't go to the Orange Islands, hence he doesn't need Kurt. So then we go on to see that Ash would be standing in Azalea Town looking for the gym. As he then say, after I get this badge, I'm gonna go and see where the hell Team Rocket are. So I need to go and ask them questions. As then we flash to inside Slowpoke Well, where we'd see Petrol and Proton talking about how they're going to make a lot of money out of selling all of these slowpoke tails, as people really like how they taste and they like them, so they're going to make a bunch of money. As then Petrol would say that maybe Giovanni leaving was the best thing that happened to them, but Proton would say don't be dumb. If Giovanni hadn't left, we wouldn't need to do this. We wouldn't need this to have a decent amount of money. That guy was rich, and he was a great boss. If Giovanni was still here, we'd be running around, hassling, trying to sell a bunch of animal tails or Pokemon tails. As then, they continue talking about the slowpoke tail business, completely ignoring how cruel they were being by cutting off an innocent Pokemon's tail. A Pokemon that isn't intelligent enough to actually understand what's going on around it, and selling it for profit. As then a boy would climb into the Slowpoke well that wasn't Ash. As then we go back up to Ash's perspective, as then he'd see the Azalea gym and walk inside. He would go and tell Bugsy that he wasn't here to play around. He wanted a full one-on-one battle where Bugsy used only his strongest Pokemon, as he was urgent and trying to look for some people. As then Bugsy would comply with this and would send out his Cypher, as Ash would send out Ninetales. Cypher would try use slashes to hit Ninetales, but Ninetales would avoid all of the attacks and then finish it off with a full power flamethrower, which would annihilate it. Bugsy would be shocked at how short the match was, but he'd still congratulate Ash and give him the badge. As then Ash would say, have you seen any suspicious looking people around this town? As then Bugsy would say that he saw weird looking men with some weird looking R on them going inside of a well with a bunch of slowpoke. As then Ash would know who those weird looking men were. And he would have heard rumours that in this town people did some things to slowpoke, and there were slowpoke living in a well. This would pique Ash's interest, as then he'd walk out and would climb into the well, where he would see a bunch of severed tails, and then he would see even a bit of blood. This would disgust Ash, as then he would walk and would see a red-haired boy talking with the two Team Rocket executives or Team Rocket admins. I'll just be calling them executives. As then, so the boy who we know to be Silver would say, my God, what are you guys doing now? Cutting off the limbs of innocent Pokemon. Oh my God, how pathetic can you guys be? Guys still scrounging around, hassling to get some money because Dad left. God, how pathetic. This place smells terrible. It smells like a million Slowpoke died. As then Petrol and Proton would say, well, we're trying our best here, kid. At least we didn't bail on our mom, unlike you. This would get under Silver's skin as they'd say, hey, probably don't even see your moms anymore. You losers out here working for a dead group that my sad mom revived. That weird kid who took down my dad spoiled my entire life. And I ain't gonna sit here and try to be part of this bootleg team, bootleg squad of losers that my dad created for business. I ain't gonna be party to that. That's why I left. I didn't leave my mom because I don't like her. I left because I didn't want to be part of this stupid stuff. I never really approved of Team Rocket anyway. I thought all of you guys were a bit weak and cowardly, all acting strong when you're all together, but when someone singles you out like that kid with a black belt did, you're all weak as hell. As then Proto would say, watch your tongue, you little brat. If you weren't Ariana's kid, there are things that we do to you. As then Silver wouldn't be fazed by this comment. But then Petra would say, that reminds me, that weird sensei dude that we stole from from that weird town from that weird city in Kanto. We keep him in Cyanwood. No, not Cyanwood, Mahogany. As Petrol would say that he always gets those two confused. As then, this would pique Ash's interest. As then, Ash would be trying to listen in to hear where exactly in Cyanwood he was kept. As then Silver would ask the exact question. As then Petrol and Proton would say in unison, like that's any of your business. Just telling you this. As then, this is when Ash would decide to step in. As then he'd make his presence known and would say, hey, what do you know about my sensei in Mahogany Town? As then they'd all turn and notice Ash standing there with Machamp. As then they'd say, oh, you must be the kid, huh? And Ash would say, I'm here looking for all of you dumb Neo Team Rocket grunts and executives so I can go and find my boss and deal with you fools for good. As then Petrol and Proton would say, so you've been eavesdropping, huh? Anyway, it's not like we'd ever tell you. As then Silver would cut in mid Proton and Petrol's speech and would then say, who are you? You look pathetic as hell in that weird blue gi. Anyway, are you worried about these weaklings? Anybody who views these guys as a threat is weak and useless. As then Ash would say, who are you calling weak? Or just some random redhead trainer? And I conquered the Indigo Plateau single-handedly. As then Silver would say, doesn't care how strong you or your Pokemon are. If you see these weaklings who huddle up in groups as a threat, you're weak in my book. As then Ash would get quite annoyed by this comment. As then he'd say, who are you to talk? You're just some random kid. As then Silver would say, I don't care. I don't have time to be arguing with someone weak like you. As then he'd walk out of the Slowpoke well, seeing no use to be there anymore, as he came to see what Neo Team Rocket was doing. As then Ash would turn his attention to Proton and Petrol. As then Ash would say, tell me where my sensei is in Mahogany Town. As then they'd say, it's not like we'd ever tell you. As then Ash would say, tell me now. As then he'd glare at them. This would unnerve both of them. As then Petrol, trying to act tough, would say, okay, only if you beat us in a battle, we'll tell you. As then Proton would stare at his partner in crime. As then Petrol would give him a look and would say, not literally, he wouldn't literally say something, but he communicates something with the look in his eye. He would say, as that kid looked like a threat, or just mid-battle, or just try to get away, even in the middle of like an explosion, okay? As then Proton would get that. As then it would be a double battle. Ash would use Machamp and Ninetales against Petrol and Proton's Golbat and Raticate. Machamp would fight Golbat with a bunch of Mega Punches, and Golbat would counter with Ring Attacks. As then Ninetales and Raticate would clash with Hyper Beam and Flamethrower. After a long time, Machamp's Mega Punches would defeat Golbat, as then it would be a clash between Flamethrower and Hyper Beam. This would go on for a decent while, as Raticate was stronger than thought. Petra and Proton would be trying to find an opportunity to escape, but they wouldn't find the opportunity, as there wouldn't be any big explosion. As then, eventually, Ninetales' Flamethrower would overtake the Hyper Beam and would defeat Raticate instantly. As then, there wouldn't be any opportunity for the two to escape, so they'd have to keep the end of the deal, and then they would go and would tell Ash that he was hidden in their hideout. They would tell him that his sensei was in their hideout. As then Ash would say, where is the hideout in Cinewood? That is such a vague explanation. As then Petrel and Proton would look at each other and would say, it's northeast the Mahogany Gym. As then Ash would say, if you're lying to me, I'll find out one way or another. I'll ask a few more grunts, and you'll see me in your hideout if you're lying. Both trainers would gulp, as then they'd say, kid, we're not lying to you. You can go to Cinewood right now and go northeast the Mahogany Gym, and then go inside, and then you'll see. We're not lying. As then Ash would say, I kind of trust you guys. Even though he really shouldn't, he could tell that they were being honest. As then Ash would then walk up to them close and would say, I trust you guys. But just remember, if you're lying, you'll see my reaction when I find you two fools. As then Petrel and Proton would leave. As then Ash would make it out of the Slowpoke well. As then he would find Silver. As then he would be meaning to talk to Silver, as Silver had annoyed him. As then he'd say, who do you think you are, kid? Are you the son of that guy Giovanni? As then Silver would say, why do you need to know that? As then Ash would say, I'll take that answer as a yes. Anyway, I'll have you know that I defeated that guy in no time flat. Even his fake Pokemon, that weird fake Pokemon of his, was beat easily by my Machamp. If you're calling me weak, I have no idea. You have no idea, as your dad, the strongest trainer, the supposed strongest gym leader in Kanto, was defeated easily by me. I'm a champ over here and my entire team, even though he was using a very powerful psychic type. But this comment would get under Silver's skin, not because Ash was making Silver look weak. It was because Ash had mentioned Giovanni's takedown, and then it would all make sense. Ash was the one who ruined his life. Ash was the one who made him have to run away from home. Ash was the one who made his mom a sick, a sad and emotionally broken woman. Ash was the one who caused all of this for him, his mom, and his family. And this all made sense. Silver would glare at Ash and would say, "You battle me right now." As then Ash would say, "I don't know why you're having this sudden change in tone, but I like it." As then Ash would also say, "You sound less annoying." As then Silver would say, "Battle me right now or something bad's gonna happen." Ash would then say, "I don't know what you could do to me, but if you want a battle, you got one." As then Ash would send out Polygraph, as then Silver would send out Crocodile. As then Ash, thinking that this would be quick, would call for an Ice Punch, which would hit Crocodile, and it wouldn't do as much as Ash thought it would. As then Crocodile would respond with a Crunch, which would knock back Polygraph a bit. As then Polygraph would respond with a Point Blank Hydro Pump, which would knock back Crocodile for a lot. As then Silver would glare at Crocodile and would say, "Now, I ain't playing any games right now." As then Crocodile would gulp. As then its eyes would glow blue. As then a tornado of water would surround it, as it would be covered in water, as its eyes would be a cyan blue. Ash would look and would know what this was, as he would then say, "That's Torrent, its ability." As then Silver would say, "Of course it is. Are you dumb?" As then Silver would call for a full power water pulse. As then Crocodile would use a water pulse, which would do a little bit of damage to Polygraph. As then Silver would go for a Crunch, but would be quickly shot down by a Mega Punch. As then Crocodile would be defeated by Polygraph, and Polygraph wouldn't have even broke a sweat, as it looked like it could have went on for hours and hours, and it wasn't even trying in that battle. This would annoy Silver, as then he'd say, "Even if it's the last thing I'll do, I'll teach you a lesson for spoiling my life, and for spoiling my mom's mental state and emotional state, as she's distraught after what you did to my dad. Pretty sure she'll never be the same. Damn you, Ash Ketchum. I'll make you pay. You'll rue the day you walked into the Viridian Gym / my home and terrorized my family and me. You will rue that day." As then Silver would leave and Ash would return Polygraph. As then I think this is the perfect time